Good morning, Oklahoma, and welcome to Cow-Calf Corner. Our topic this week is controlling flies. Unfortunately, in Oklahoma, whether you think of the geography or the climate, we set it about the perfect spot to have big populations of flies. And in a state with so much cow-calf production that goes on, we need to control these pests to the extent that we possibly can. There's a number of different flies. They tend to peak at certain times of the year. But if we think of us being here in the middle of April, we've had an early spring warm up, unseasonably warm temperatures, even through the end of winter. Now we've had some precipitation. We're seeing a little more humidity, and we are the perfect breeding ground for flies. So whether it's horn flies, stable flies, house flies, horse flies, we deal with all of them, and they impact beef production. It is estimated, and this number's a little out of date, so it might even be higher now, that we knocked the door of $2 billion that horn flies alone cost beef production. Horn fly is a type of fly that takes blood meals off cattle, comes down from the top of their shoulders, works their way down potentially to the belly. They have about 25 blood meals a day. They can be a significant source of irritation and just robbing productivity in cow-calf operations. We're going to see reduced weaning weights as a result of these pests, actual lessening milk production, and then the fly load on calves as well create extra problems. Stable flies. Stable flies tend to peak this time of year as we get into really hot temperatures and consecutive days of over 90 degrees in the summer. They'll tend to decrease, and then they'll bounce back as we get into August and September a lot of times. We're standing here taping today in front of a hay ring. It is interesting, if we think of a typical hay ring and the wasted hay that stands around that, after a rain, the moisture that catches holds that moisture. We can see 60,000 stable flies a week result from one hay ring and something like this. How do we avoid that? Well, we get it cleaned up as soon as possible. And here we are kind of in a precarious time. We're still feeding hay in a lot of cases. You'll notice a lot of cattle when they come up to the hay ring to eat, stomping their legs. We've probably got stable flies biting the legs of those cattle, causing irritation. And we ask ourselves the question, is there enough green grass that the cattle don't want to go to the hay ring to eat? Or is it just a matter of those stable flies being there to irritate them as they do? So things like that, whether we drag a harrow through it, pick it up, put it in a manure spreader and get it spread out, any of that stuff we can do to get nesting areas like this cleaned up, we want to tackle that as soon as possible. So other things we can do to control fly populations, in addition to cleaning up hay feeding areas around a hay ring, we want to start thinking about insecticides that can be used. There's a number of ways to go about using insecticides, whether it's a pour-on, whether it is putting it on a back rub that cattle will use or be forced to use, whether it is an insecticide impregnated ear tag. We want to look at labels of these different products, and the way we go about this, potentially rotate products through the years in order to avoid immunity in fly populations. But we want to get started on a lot of those things now, if not even earlier. A question that we've had in the past, fly wasp or fly predators, a type of wasp that actually eats fly larvae, can be effective in controlling certain types of flies, probably more so stable flies than horn flies, but you've got to take a look to see if that is going to be cost effective based on the size of your operation and the sheer amount of quantity of those that you may need to get out. So start thinking about insecticides and a way to effectively get those on cattle to control fly populations, sprayed on, poured on, back rubs, or in an ear tag itself. Clean up areas where flies may nest. Look at other things that might be a solution. But the bottom line is we need to take action now to save profitability and control fly populations to the extent possible. Final thought, an insect growth regulator that can be fed through a mineral. We are seeing a lot of positive results in terms of interrupting that life cycle of flies as that insect growth regulator ends up in our manure pads. And long term, while we used to talk about doing that only during fly season, The producers who are seeing good results are actually beginning to feed IGR and mineral year-round and liking the results that they're seeing there. So just some thoughts on fly control. As always, thanks for joining us on Cow-Calf Corner.